Euro 2020 is why we have you on Bet Today. We appreciate the time. Let's start with the defending champs. Dalen, would you bet Portugal at 8-1 to make it out of Group F? Many are calling it the Group of Death because they share it with France, Germany, and Hungary.
Yeah, I think they're going to get out, and here's why, Tyler. They expanded Euros about a decade ago from 16 teams to 24 teams. So now they're only really whittling it down. 8 teams are getting axed. So you have 2 teams getting out of the group for sure, then the top 4 third-place teams. What sets up well for Portugal is the fact that they're going to be against Germany, France. Obviously, it's a huge group, but they also have Hungary in their group. They're going to take care of Hungary. They're going to get a win there. That gives them 3 points. Maybe they draw with France or Germany. Bear in mind, this is a better Portugal team, actually, in terms of talent than the 16 club that won. They were so reliant on Ronaldo. They were very defensive. They played a counter-attacking style, and they did it to great effect, and they won tight games. This is a more talented team, so I think they're capable, without a doubt, to get out of the group and move forward. They're 8-1 to win it all. I don't like that, but I think they're going to get out of their group with one of those 4 third-place teams, or maybe they're the second-place team. Bear in mind, Germany is not exactly world beaters, although they were in 2014. 2018, they crapped out of the World Cup. They're trying to figure out themselves, trying to push out the old guard, bring in new players. They haven't been great, so Portugal to get out of their group is a good bet.
Dalen, what team, as we continue looking Euro 2020, which you will see on the ESPN family of networks, what team is not getting a lot of recognition or pub right now, but the markets indicate people should be paying more attention?
France is a deserving favorite, Tyler, and they are sucking up a lot of the oxygen. Spain's got COVID issues, and they've obviously been great in the past, and people are talking about them. Belgium, I think, is a team that I like to win it all. They're plus 600. This is their golden generation. Now, Kevin De Bruyne is one of the best creative midfielders in the world, plays for Manchester City, was hurt in the Champions League final, got a head-to-head collision, had a small little surgery done. He won't play in the first game, but he'll be fine, supposedly, to come back in. Eden Hazard, one of the most electric players in the world, hasn't played like that since going from Chelsea to Real Madrid the last 2 years. He finds form, which he has usually as the captain of that Belgium club. They could be really good, coupled with Romelu Lukaku is probably the best striker in the world. If you're looking for a golden ball, in terms of golden boot for the most goals scored, he's a good bet. I believe he's the leader in the category, plus 600. Maybe the most informed striker in the world, and they also have one of the best keepers in the world, in Thibaut Courtois, with a bunch of veterans. Yes, a little bit older in the back line, but veterans. They're the number 1 ranked team in the world. I think they will be the team that prevails, and the reason I'm picking them instead of France, I like them, but those 2 teams, look at the bracket, folks. The bracket's already out. You can already see where teams are going to be slotted based on where you think they're going to finish. I think both France and Belgium win their respective groups. They would meet before the final. And that's why I'm picking Belgium, not France. I think Belgium can win that game, and I like them going all the way.
All right, Dalen, one thing people love to wager on is a long shot. In the 2016 Euro, Iceland was that team that most surprisingly advanced out of group stage. They're not in this year's field, but what team in 2020 could be this year's Iceland?
It's funny, Tyler, because the Euros, it's every year. It's almost every year it happens. It was Iceland and Wales in the semifinals. And in 2008, it was Turkey and Russia in the semifinals. In 2004, Greece won the whole thing. It was a shock. So you always have these kind of crazy runs in the Euro tournament. It's more difficult than the World Cup because the quality of competition in every match is just a little bit higher. I like Denmark. I think Denmark got a Group B. They're going to be in Belgium's group, but they have Russia and Finland, 2 of the weaker teams. Finland's never been in an international competition this level. That's their first opponent. I think they get off to a good foot. Off on the right foot. Denmark has a bunch of guys, almost all but 3 play in the top 5 leagues in the world. Christian Eriksen, one of the best creative midfielders in the world. They've got a good experienced keeper in Kasper Schmeichel and a lot of great players in between there. I think that's a team that can finish second in their group. And again, look at the bracket where they've set up. The second in their group will be second in Group A, which is probably Switzerland or maybe Turkey. Really like that matchup for them to get to the quarters. And then if you look at the bracket again, the winner of Group C could be the Netherlands. The Dutch, I couldn't be more out of the Dutch, folks. Frank de Boer, is a manager, has been terrible. Last 3 stops he's been at, he's made this team look so defensive and so poor. If they win their group and somehow advance against a third-place opponent, I love that matchup. Or I like Denmark playing a third-place opponent if it's not Portugal, as we talked about earlier. I think they can make it to the semi. And plus 800 is great value. I think they would be that team we're going to be talking about in a month that was the sleeper that came and made some noise and went deep.
All right, Dalen, finally, all kinds of ways to wager on Euro 2020. I'll keep the dog theme going. Put your paw, however, on a best bet, one that you have to take to the window.
This is a sad bet, to be real with you, man. I'm going with the lowest goal-scoring team. I'm going to go with ineptitude. That's what I'm talking about right now. And it's Hungary. They're the favorite in the category of plus 450 to have the least goals. But you look at their group, and people say, well, that's an obvious pick. Again, France, Portugal, and Germany in their group, and lowly Hungary. Now, granted, Hungary's playing all their games at home, Tyler, in Budapest with 100% capacity rules. That place is going to be going bonkers. That said, you got to have the ball to score. And France is going to be a more talented team. They like to play on the counter unless they're a more dominant team, which they are. They're going to have the ball. Germany's going to have the ball. Portugal's going to want to possess a little bit more, I think, going into this tournament, especially against an opponent like Hungary in a game that they really have to win to keep pace, as we talked about before. So I think Hungary's going to struggle to score. Maybe they get 1 or 2 on a set piece at best, but I think this is a team that could really labor to have the ball and score the ball. And at plus 450, they still give you 4.5 times your money. I really like that bet. That's my best bet going into this tournament.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.